Essential workers and their job demands that they be spontaneous to distress calls when calamities like fire outbreak, building collapse, and threats to life occur. Emergency responders have the mandate to step in and literally rescue the situation. Preventing fatalities and casualties is their primary responsibility. However, with the COVID-19 pandemic changing the rules of engagement in all sectors, and the modus operandi for this class of workers is radically being altered for their protection and that of others. Innovations in emergency response due to COVID-19 pandemic is the topic in view on Panorama today, coming to you from the NTA Lagos Network Center. I am Dotun Ogunyemi. Thanks for joining us. And now let's begin. The Chief of Defense Staff has described as untrue the news going around that more abducted Chibok girls have escaped from Boko Haram captivity. He was speaking in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, while fielding questions from journalists after an assessment of the security situation on ground.
That we have been conducting is not new. The operation has been on now for well over 1 month. And so the intensity of the operation, of course, is what have led to so many of those who have been held behind lines to escape. Now, you said you had a rumor. So what do you want me to confirm to you? The rumor? What we know is that we do not have any of the Chibok girls in our custody, that is, with us. So if they are not with us, what do we want us to confirm to you? It's like you asking us to go to every home to begin to confirm who and who lives in those homes. All I can tell you is that yes, we desire that the rest of the Chibok girls will receive their liberty. And if our operations have helped those ones that have been alleged to have escaped, have yielded that result, I think we're glad. We hope to strengthen the efforts that we're putting on in order to free the rest that are behind lines.
The CDS says what is peddled is all rumor, but if it is so, and it so happens that the sustained onslaught on the insurgents by security forces leads to the Chibok girls escaping, that will be a welcome development. And away from security now, let's talk labor, where the meeting to review and adopt the committee works on the twin increase of petroleum motor spirit and electricity tariff has resolved to meet in 3 weeks. This is to enable the organized labor time to study the recommendations submitted by the committees. Although the Committee on Electricity Tariff is yet to finish their work on its technical report, which is expected in 3 weeks' time.
The Committee on Petroleum Pricing have finished their work. They have sent in the reports. We received the report and adopted the reports. So Labour asked for some time to go and subject the reports to their various organs. It's a technical report. We are coming back at the end of 21 days after Labour has taken time to look at the report, and I'm sure we will get a landing on the matter.
Is there any hope of new templates in 3 weeks?
Yes, already the committee has suggested, made some recommendations, far-reaching recommendations, which I believe are quite acceptable. But, well, it all depends on Labour.
We accepted the report as a working document. So we have gone through the report, and we found out that there are some elements in the report that certainly we need to interrogate the report very well, because part of the report is what we refer to as the regulation, but which is based on import-driven deregulation, which means that some of the variables, that is exchange rate, inflation, and the price of crude oil at the international market will continue to drive the process of price modulation. And we thought that that may be a cycle that will not have an end, and therefore we need to do a broader consultation and come up with something that we think can be beneficial, both to Nigerian workers and Nigerians as a whole.
That the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, as well as the organized labor are hopeful that the year 2021 will bring luck to Nigerians instead of challenges. The federal government has extended the deadline for the ongoing National Identification Number and Subscriber Identity Model Integration exercise by 8 weeks. A statement jointly signed by the Director of Public Affairs of the Nigerian Communications Commission, Ikechukwu Adinde, and the Head Corporate Communications NIMC, Kayode Adegoke, indicates that the new deadline is April 6, 2021. This development is a major fallout of the Ministerial Task Force on NIN SIM registrations meeting chaired by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Pantami, and which had all players in attendance, including telecommunication companies, regulators, and unions. So far, a total of 56.18 million NINs have been collected by the mobile network operators, representing a significant increase when compared with the 47.8 million reported by the Technical Committee on January 18, 2021. The statement commends Nigerians for their efforts and urges those yet to get their national identity numbers to take advantage of the extension to do so, while promising to ensure an easier and COVID-19 safe regulation process for all Nigerians and legal residents. As the world marks World Wetlands Day, celebrated every February 2nd, environmentalists are amplifying the need for sustained efforts aimed at checking climate change and protecting wetlands. Diana Ajala reports that the British Deputy High Commissioner in Lagos joined other nature lovers to advocate wetland restoration.
Freshwater crisis and effects of climate change are bedeviling the world today. Aggravating this challenge is human consumption pattern and activities that put pressure of nature's resources. Wetlands and waters are two of the eco-casualties with adverse consequences on lives and the ecosystem.
The best way of protecting the wetlands is to have a renewal of our minds and hold nature responsible for our life support.
And to mark World Wetlands Day, the British Deputy High Commissioner Lagos, Ben Jones, and other environmentalists gathered at the Lufasi Park for tree planting. Let us plant a tree today. Let the rain fall. The British Deputy High Commissioner in Lagos emphasized the need for more environmental protection, particularly conservation of wetlands.
So it's really important that we preserve wetlands, but also we plant more trees, frankly, we reforest, so that we have nature-based solutions to some of the challenges we face.
Know a lot about conservation or anything, and you just want to walk around in the fresh air, you will learn a lot. Peace and quiet and the fresh air, breathe in the nice clean oxygen.
The theme for World Wetlands Day 2021 is Wetlands and Water. It highlights wetlands, a rich source of fresh water, and encourages actions to restore them and stop their loss. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
We'll take a commercial break. Panorama continues shortly.
Coronavirus is real. Steps to avoid this pandemic. Wash your hands regularly or sanitize your hands. Keep social and physical distancing. Avoid crowded places. Stay at home unless absolutely necessary. Don't touch your eyes, nose or mouth if your hands are not clean. Avoid the spread of coronavirus. Coronavirus is real.
The reality caused by the coronavirus pandemic is changing the spectrum of themes, while emergency responders, in recognition of this, are bracing up to innovations to meet the mandate. These new methods were highlighted at a 3-day basic first aid recertification course for emergency responders organized by the National Emergency Management Agency in collaboration with the Nigeria Red Cross Society in Lagos. Imolayo Tokede has details.
Cardiopulmonary resuscitation, otherwise known as CPR, is an emergency life-saving procedure performed when the heart stops beating. It sometimes involves exhaling air into the subject's mouth or nose. This method, among others, have however been condemned due to the coronavirus pandemic, which could endanger the life of the responder or the casualty because of the close contact, which is against the COVID-19 protocol of social distancing.
While we are trying to look out for some signs, while we are attending to victims before, we usually look out for listen and feel for breath. But that has been removed because we don't want to have direct contact with the casualty. Just look out for the rise and fall of the chest, and that will be enough to ascertain if the casualty is breathing or not.
Since emergencies are inevitable, agencies involved in emergency management like NEMA are not relenting in enlightening the public on the new ways of resuscitation to avoid further spread of the virus.
Be able to see what to do, how to attend to the victims at the scene of incident as quick as possible.
As emergency responders, need to continually save the people, because emergency is part of the environment it happens, and we have to be up to the task.
A simulation exercise to assess the level of participants' knowledge about the new techniques for crowd control and evacuation of victims from the accident scene to the ambulance were demonstrated. Trainings like this by the National Emergency Management Agency will enforce greater collaboration between emergency responding agencies while on field. In Lagos, Imole Ayotokide, NTA News.
Talking more about the innovation in emergency response due to the COVID-19 pandemic is Ibrahim Fariloye, Acting Coordinator, Lagos Territorial Office, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. Many thanks for coming.
Good afternoon, sir.
Now, can you please highlight the changes in emergency response due to the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, before going to the highlight of the changes so far, the agency, based on the PTF, that's Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, the agency is the lead agency on protocol security and emergency management. We've been carrying out this task, but due to all the issues and experiences we've had since last year, March, the Director General, Air Vice Marshal Alhaji Mohammed, retired, observed some gaps in some of our activities that we've been carrying out. So he was the one that mandated compulsory recertification and training of all NEMA staff, including critical stakeholders. Well, some of the major changes is the mouth-to-mouth resuscitation ability, which has been abolished. One. The second one was when somebody is choked. What has been established so far is there must be minimum of 2 meters apart, and if you need to contact anybody, there must be a sort of guiding preventive measures that you must apply. Like when you are choked, before you do anything, you will start it from the back, and that transmission of droplets will not be possible. These are some of them. Then for the airport, why the fan were encouraged to be part of the training, they have, on daily basis, they have contact with guests, travelers in and out of the country. So in contacting them, either by their luggage or in the course of interview, what are the rules and regulations, some of the things. When disaster occurs, from the disaster scene, you carry you have to evacuate some of the victims to a point where you separate the critical ones, the red tape, the blue tape, and the yellow tape. So in the process of this, a lot of things happens. So we've been guided on what to do. Technology has been brought in. Instead of having direct contact to victims now, we have minimal contact with them. So these are the things we've been trained, and how to use those technology is now what have been introduced in the country.
Now, rescue workers and first responders are acquiring the requisite skill to stay safe while ensuring that others also stay safe and they can protect and provide the needed service in terms of emergency response. Considering the fact that COVID-19 has been around for several months, how would this practice now go moving forward?
Well, the practice, just like I said, like all these trained stakeholders, we pray we don't have complex emergencies, but in case we have them, every agency is going ahead to train all other staff, but the ones
based on the training that you've given them and the innovations.
Okay. But we can collocate all these stakeholders at once to come together when we have major emergencies like this. Other security agencies, crowd control measures to prevent everybody from spreading the virus were also adopted.
Now, we see that the emphasis is on the area of first aid. What about other rescue operations?
You see, when you talk of first aid, not every medical practitioners are first aiders. So when you talk of other rescue operators are part of the people we have trained. The rescuers are part of them because we have two major sections when there is emergency. The rescuers, then the first aid.
Okay.
So the two of them are combined, and we can swap the two of them at any time because the first aiders too are also trained on rescue. Because all hands must be on deck when it comes to emergencies. If we observe somebody is too tired or scared or have fatigue, we change them. So the environment during emergencies is always dynamic, just like any emergency too. We have dynamic situation, and that is why emergency managers, we have to also have the acquired knowledge and skill to respond to dynamic. Every disaster, two or three disasters can happen within 1 minute, but they can come with different dynamism. So that is why we have this various training that takes place on a regular basis with all of us.
Now, what challenges do emergency responders face in the line of duty?
Well, we can count crowd control as part of major challenge, but in some instances, some of them are also helpful. They are helpful because emergency rescuers, if it is building collapse, if it is a boat capsizing, we don't know that environment before that incident. So some of the crowd knows the in and out of those areas. So at times when we get to a scene, we co-opt them to the system to help us out, like in a building that about 2, 3, 4 stories, the location of houses, of rooms where people are converged, or where we have restaurant, where we can have more than 5, 10 people around can help us out. So crowd control, solely by civil defense and police, they are handled in the training. Police are fully involved. They were there, civil defense were there, and we are still going ahead with further training in the next few weeks to further train them on what we call international humanitarian law, so that interaction between us and the crowd, once you talk to them, they will be able to listen. Is what we are going to go into because of the same COVID-19. The way you talk to people, they will be able to abide. So that is what we are going to do with the crowd control.
Now, talking about talking to people, what advice do you have for members of the public in terms and in cases of emergencies?
Well, the major problem we've been having, especially in Lagos, are the elites. When you are moving, you are trying to respond to disaster. Commercial drivers, once they hear the siren, they park. But the elite will never even listen. They won't care. So they disrupt response time. Why Nigerians? Information dissemination. Some of them may like to manage things on their own. First, like the case we had at Ijesha Market. They started managing that crisis. It was a gas issue that had problem. It was when it got out of hand, they started calling. So early dissemination of information to appropriate agencies will help in stemming the losses. You note that so far so good this year. We've not recorded any serious injury, neither casualty in some of the disasters we've recorded. So that information dissemination and awareness creation among the populace is very, very important. So, and which we need to continue to emphasize on.
All right, thank you so much, Acting Coordinator, Lagos Territorial Office of NEMA, Ibrahim Fariloye, for your time.
Thank you, sir.
And away from that now, let's talk latest COVID-19 update as figures from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control as at the 1st of February shows that 676 new cases of the coronavirus have been recorded in 19 states of the Federation, including the FCT, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 131,918 in Nigeria. Out of the new infections, Lagos recorded the daily highest of 227, followed by Rivers with 73 cases. Niger had 69, Plateau 56, the FCT 50, Kano 44, Oyo 43, Ogun 27, Gombe 18, Ondo 15, Enugu and Osun have 10 cases each, while Cross River and Edo have 8 cases each, Nasarawa 7, Bauchi 4, Kaduna 3, while Ekiti and Zamfara have 2 cases each. So far, 106,275 have been discharged, while 1,607 deaths have been recorded across the country. Athletes set up for preparations for Edo 2020. Details from our sports desk.
Welcome to Sports Update. I am Tamara Ebiwe. We begin from home front, where athletes to the 20th National Sports Festival, built for Benin City, the Edo State capital, this month, are intensifying training at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, to ensure podium finishes at the festival.
It's been a very long while that we competed, so we're just trying to put everything in place. Our coaches are trying their best to see that we execute it properly.
We've only had 1 meet. So based on that, I wish we can run 1 more meet before the festival. But I think come festival, a lot of people will be a little bit in tune with the specific training, and then I think they should pretty much come to perform.
In football, talents discovered at the just ended 2021 Olympic hybrid football screening program held in Abuja are in camp, preparing for the 2021 Dana Cup, scheduled for Denmark. The newly selected players and the main team settled for a 1-0 draw on the final day.
So we want to start working and building with our old squad to get things out of it. So basically it was a very successful program.
Now to tennis, where former world #1 Serena Williams' chase for her 24th record equaling major singles title gets a boost as she has fully recovered from an Achilles injury suffered at the US Open in September. Serena and Katie Boulter won their opening Australian Open warm-up matches, with Williams defeating Australia's Daria Gavrilova 6-1, 6-4, while Boulter beat Russia's Anna Kalinskaya 6-1, 6-3. That's Sports Update. I am Tamara Ibiwe.
And that's it on Panorama today, which came to you from the Lagos Network Center. Many thanks for watching.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
Nigeria, a nation of great people. Different tribes and languages, yet we are united in our diversity. All over the world, Nigerians are known to be very hardworking and resilient people. In our history as a nation, there have been many storms, but just like the eagle, we always soar very high above the storms. Together, as a nation, we stood against Ebola virus disease in 2014, and we conquered. Together as a nation, we shall stand against COVID-19 and we shall surely triumph. Let's do our part as citizens, obey the health authorities, stay at home, practice social distancing and proper hygiene.